Hello, and welcome to News Next Month, where every month we will provide you with the predictions from mystic and esoteric sources. Unfortunately, May's recap will be very brief. We started off fairly strong in the first week with the COVID-19 predictions. However, things dropped away quickly from there. Of course, for more details, you can still see that month on the website of newsnextmonth.com. But without further ado, this is June. So the theme of June will be slow and careful, as we see the end of troubles with strong emphasis on re-establishing trade. The COVID-19 predictions in the first week, days 1 through 5. Although COVID-19 cases may be strong still throughout the world, this week we're going to see a drop in the actual death rates associated with it. This sounds like a sign that hospitals around the world are going to be better equipped to deal with extreme COVID-19 cases. Days 6 through 12. This week, there will be small localized victories. Now, however small these regional successes will be, they will actually have a cumulative impact on the overall pandemic. Days 13 through 19. This week, it'll be more about people using the pandemic for personal gains, mostly politically. However, you may see this from businesses as well. This will be a particular week to watch for trickery. Definitely use critical thinking, and by all means, do fact-checking. Days 20 through 26. This week, we're going to see fighting in regards to the pandemic. This is likely to take shape in the form of demonstrations and protests. Days 27 through 30. The theme here will be governments financially assisting people and businesses affected by the pandemic. And as for the news for America, days 1 through 5. This week, we're also going to see abuse of power. There will be people using their position to push other people around, supposedly for the greater good. This could be individuals, groups, or countries. That bit is unclear. Days 6 through 12. This week we will see distraction, disorder, and confusion. The question is, what is happening that we do not see? These kinds of events are very useful for misdirection with large populations. Days 13 through 19. This week our attention is going to be drawn to the courts. It will seem that there is an error causing bias or some form of injustice. Days 20 through 26. Here we will see inconsistency and instability. It actually wouldn't be shocking to find errors or outright deception in the news. As the headline, of course. Days 27 through 30 will end the month off with a flavor of businesses conducting usury and doing sloppy work. Definitely a good time to be careful with whom you do business with. Pay close attention to the contracts that you're provided with. My concern is that being in the news at this point, the damage may already be done. And introducing a new section to the monthly report, India. So days 1 through 5. This first week, people will be able to see some sort of opposition coming their way, some sort of a fight that they are preparing for and are willing to engage with. This doesn't actually seem warlike, so I don't think it's going to be the government fighting against the people, which also means it's probably not going to involve the farmers and their protests. Days 6 through 12. This week people will see charity, probably from the government, to support those affected by the pandemic. Days 13 through 19. This will make for an interesting week, as this week the people will have to watch idiots who will try to lead. What they say may seem very appealing, but it's definitely a week to use critical thinking with everything that they are confronted with. Days 20 through 26. It is wise to watch for the misuse of force or power, whether it be against you or whether you are the one with the force. Either way, the results are likely to be disastrous. Days 27 through 30. This month ends again with a need for critical thinking. However, this time it'll be because people are trying to deceive and manipulate. This is more widespread and general. Now, a description of a big event for this month. This is about an abuse of power and position, which is for the purpose of self gratification. Now, the who involved in this? This is probably a political figure in the Americas. The what? Now, this is actually going to be a matter of infidelity and deception. Now, where it takes place is going to be a place of opulence and decadence. And when? This will come out during a financially auspicious moment, possibly near the 7th. In other news, there is the United States of America Congress UAP report that is expected in the month of June. And the question is, will this be a full and truthful report? Now, a bit of background on that. UAPs, those are unidentified aerial phenomena, otherwise known as UFOs. This is the reports from Marines and Air Force and military that have been long kept in secret. So it's quite interesting what will come out of this. But as for the mystic and esoteric sources, the answer is no, it will not be a full and truthful report. Behind the scene, there is fear of what this will expose people of power to. There is a lot of money leveraged to hide important details from Congress. In the end, corruption makes killing the truth in the report possible. This won't necessarily mean that there will be nothing interesting to report on, but whatever we see will not be the full and true story. And now for the astrology transits of June. Now, astrology transits are particularly useful for trying to pick a particular time to do certain things. Also, they're really handy for when you want to do certain spells. You have to consider it more like mystical weather. Particularly, you might notice that some of the events that do come true are going to come true on these particular points in time. So, for week 1, the first event that we're going to see in the first week is on June 2nd, and this is a particularly important event. Venus will enter Cancer. One event on June 3rd will be the Sun in Gemini, forming a trine with Saturn in Aquarius. Also on June 3rd, Venus will be in Cancer, and that will form a trine with Jupiter in Pisces. On June 5th, Mercury in Gemini will form a square with Neptune in Pisces, and Mars in Cancer will form an opposition to Pluto in Capricorn. A quick recap of week 1. COVID-19, we're going to see the death rates dropping. The Americas will see an abuse of power for the greater good. And India will be preparing for a big opposition. Week 2, on June 10th, we're going to see a new moon solar eclipse in Gemini. And eclipses tend to play a part in political events. At the same time, on June 10th, the Sun in Gemini will be conjunct with Mercury in Gemini. And then on the 11th, we have another major event where Mars will enter Leo. The week 2 recap is that small localized victories will have an impact on the pandemic. Distraction and misdirection will be in the Americas. And India will have charity. In week 3, on June 13th, Venus in Cancer will sextile Uranus in Taurus. Also on June 13th, the Sun in Gemini will square Neptune in Pisces. And then on the 14th, Saturn in Aquarius will square Uranus in Taurus. The recap for COVID-19 in this week is political trickery. In America, there will be attention on the courts. And in India, idiots will try to lead. Week 4 will be quite eventful. On June 20th, Jupiter goes retrograde in Pisces. Also, on June 20th, the Sun enters Cancer, and it's the summer solstice. These are both very important events. On the 21st, Venus is in Cancer, and it will trine with Neptune in Pisces. On the 22nd, Mercury goes direct in Gemini, also another important transit. On the 23rd, the Sun in Cancer will trine with Jupiter in Pisces, and also on the 23rd, Venus in Cancer will be in opposition to Pluto in Capricorn. On the 24th, we have a full moon in Capricorn, which is also an important event, and on the 25th, Neptune goes retrograde in Pisces. Now, in week 4, we do see conflict occurring as a result of the pandemic. In the Americas, we will see inconsistency and instability. And in India, they'll have to watch for misuse of force and power. The end of the month only has the one event on June 27th, but it is important. This is when Venus enters Leo. This is the week where governments will financially be assisting people and businesses affected by the pandemic, while in America, businesses will be conducting usury and doing sloppy work. And in India, there's a heightened sense of deception and manipulation. Thank you for staying with us. Please remember, subscribe, like, comment, share with your friends, and by all means, if there's anything you want to know about next month, definitely let us know. Have a great month.